Korea. We'll have that in just a moment. But let's start with news of a true titan of the business world. We're talking about Alibaba. The Chinese firm is one of the biggest e-commerce companies on the planet. So when it reports its results, it gets a lot of attention, and it is doing so in a few hours' time. So if we give you a sense of its enormity, last year transactions on Alibaba's sites, you can see here, totaling some $462 billion. That's more than eBay and Amazon put together. The company became one of the globe's most valuable tech firms after raising $25 billion from its US stock market debut, and investors will be looking for news of its plans for global expansion. Its mobile payment system, Alipay, is key to that, with plans for it to be introduced in Europe, the US and Asia. Alipay is also important for the company's desire to capitalize on the shift by consumers to shopping on their mobile devices. Well, Nick Hood is a business risk advisor at Opus Restructuring. Good morning, Nick.
Morning, Sally.
So, Alibaba in a few hours will tell us how it's doing. What are we expecting?
Well, the consensus among analysts is that it'll come out with quarterly earnings of around $1 billion, which interestingly will make it 4 times as profitable as Amazon, despite all sorts of questions about online and profitability. This is one business that is doing really well.
Interesting, isn't it? Because it has been doing well. I know the shares are up some 77% since it listed in the United States. And yet there's a lot of talk of how short sellers, speculators, are shorting the Alibaba stock at the moment, i.e. playing with the stock, thinking it could be a bit wobbly in the year to come, in 2017. Why is that?
Well, the issue facing it is the doubts about where the Chinese economy is going. And there's no doubting this is a company that, at this stage of its development, is heavily linked to the Chinese economy, and depending on how that goes, so Alibaba will follow.
And it is about size, isn't it, and
yes,
scale, and the population of China, mainland China, meaning Alibaba is so enormous in terms of its sales. Last year on Singles Day, making $14.3 billion in sales in 24 hours. That's coming up on November the 11th.
Yes.
The question, though, is what about Alibaba outside of mainland China?
Well, it's certainly gearing up to to move offshore, if you like, or outside the behemoth that China is. But at the same time, of course, Amazon is attacking it in its own home market, just launched Amazon Prime. So this is a game that will be played between these two enormous companies, with Alibaba trying to move outside China and Amazon trying to move into China.
When do you think we'll get to the point where those buying things outside of mainland China will consider Alibaba as well as the likes of Amazon, or maybe even go to Alibaba first?
I think we're some way away from that. I mean, there's no indication there's any shift. If you look at for millennials in the US at the moment, Amazon is their most trusted brand. So it's going to take an awful long time and a lot of effort by Alibaba to shake that.
All right, Nick.